Hi, this is your October 29th Bulldog Report. I'm Joel Gabe. The Bulldogs have played 6 games so far. They won their first 2 games, with one against their rival Marlies. They lost the next 3 games, and they just recently won last game. Now, let's start off with the good. The Bulldogs are an extremely inexperienced and young team, including only one real veteran on their defense. Brendan Nash played last 2 years ago, but he was a rookie in that year. He got hurt. So far, players that have been very good are Michael Bourneval, who won the Memorial Cup last year with the Shawinigan Cataracts. He plays a gritty, up-tempo style. He's a centerman. He's good on face-offs. He's got a his motor is very good, which means that he doesn't stop. He'll go into the corners. He is always skating. He's a great skater. He's kind of like a Maxime Lapierre, except I would argue he's got a better shot than Maxime Lapierre. He's also not a pest like Lapierre. Frederick Saint Denis. They call him Steady Freddy down there in Hamilton. He's 26 years old. He's the oldest player on the team, well, aside from Daryl Boyce. And he's the veteran defenseman on the team. He's +4. He scored last game. He's probably good enough to play in the NHL. Nathan Beaulieu has had a very good season so far. He's played 6 games. He's +2, which is interesting. In comparison, Jared Tenorti, the former captain of the London Knights, is -5. He's having a bit of a tough time adjusting. But Beaulieu is playing with Frederick Saint Denis. Great skater, Beaulieu. He's very creative offensively. He's got good passing abilities. He's got a good vision of the game. The only thing is his shot's not that good. But I've been impressed with him so far. I know that Patrice Brisebois has been working with him at practice. Brendan Gallagher has been playing very well. He scored his first goal 2 games ago. He's playing on a line with Michael Bourneval and the prospect Patrick Holland. Patrick Holland was part of that Mike Camilleri trade to Calgary. He had over 100 points last year in the WHL. He's a playmaker, first and foremost. He's a great passer. He's a very intelligent player. He's a good skater. He's relatively tall too. He's about 6'1". He's not very big though. He's not very strong. He's just a very intelligent player. So I could definitely see Holland being a top 6 player in the future. Another player that's impressed me is Joonas Nattinen, the Finnish centerman, the Habs drafted in the 2nd round a couple of years back. He's 6'3". He's got a good vision of the game. He's good defensively. He's a big man, and he actually missed the first 3 games and entered the lineup, and he's had a very good influence on the team, actually, in my opinion. He had a very good end to last year for the Bulldogs, and he seems to have picked up right where he left off. Now, for the bad, Tenorti has been, he's had problems. There's a defense pairing. It's Jared Tenorti and Greg Patterin. These 2 players are both over 6'3". Well, Tenorti's 6'7", and Patterin's, I believe, 6'4". They're both pretty good skaters for their size. It's just I think they're having a hard time communicating with each other on the ice. Like, one guy will step up in the play, and the other guy will both step up in the play. So it leaves one man uncovered. They tend to run around in their zone a little bit. The past 2 games actually, I find they've been a lot more. They've been a lot better in their zone. They've been more tight in their zone. Nonetheless, both these guys, they have a lot of potential, actually. A lot of potential. It's just that the only player on the roster, on the defense, actually, as a veteran partner, is Beaulieu. He's playing with Saint Denis. I think that they need to have another veteran defenseman in there. What else? I think that, the Dogs have had kind of an iffy start for 2 major reasons. One is that the defense is inexperienced, and they can't really, they're not playing that much of a tight game. So what's happening is that the Bulldogs can't sustain that much offensive pressure every game because the D, they're not sure when to step up because they don't want to get burned. So I think that they're kind of playing a safe game at this point, with the exception of Brendan Nash, Beaulieu, and Saint Denis. Those guys like to step into the play. So I think that time is the thing that that defense needs at this point. The other thing is the veteran players need to step up. So I'm pointing the finger at Daryl Boyce. I'm pointing the finger at Pelushai and Geoffrion. Actually, Aaron Pelushai and Blake Geoffrion were the first and second star respectively in last game. But they're the older guys on the team. They're gonna be first call ups for the Habs. So with them playing in the AHL for a couple of years now, I think that it's really important that they lead the way. They set the example. That way it can take pressure off guys like Bourneval, Holland, Gallagher, Nattanen, Steve Quayler, a big guy, 6'4". He's got some offensive skills. I don't think he's ever going to blow anyone's socks off with those skills, but he could be a good third line scoring forward in the future. Now to goalies. Cedric Desjardins, their starting goalie. He's an AHL All-Star. If anyone remembers him from a few years back, he used to play for the Bulldogs. So they've been rolling with Peter Delmas and Robert Meyer. Robert Meyer started the year as a starter, and he had a good first 2 games. And his third game, he had a really bad game. I think he let in like 2 goals on 2 shots and was pulled for Delmas, who happened to have a good game after that. Delmas started the next 2 games after that and didn't really have that great didn't play that well. So they put Robert Meyer in last game against the Heat, and he had an excellent game. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Halak, a little bit of Jose Theodore. He's smaller as a goalie, but he's very quick. He has really good rebound control. His glove hand's pretty good. But I mean, if you can catch him out of position, like I said, he's small. You could pick him apart a little bit. So he's had consistency issues playing the pro game. He's even had consistency issues in junior. So this year he seems to be kind of putting it together a little bit. He's looking like he could actually be a decent AHL goalie. So when Desjardins comes back, I think he'll stay on the team. I think Delmas will go to the ECHL. Louis LeBlanc, he played for the first 3 games. He had 2 goals and was +1. He's starting to pick it up a little bit, but he got hurt. He sprained his ankle in a fight, actually. He was like almost out. He was having a little wrestling match in the corner, and he ended up falling awkwardly and sprained his ankle. So he's going to be out for 6 weeks, which is a big loss. But, it gives some of those younger guys a chance. Because, LeBlanc is going to be one of the first call-ups for the Canadians. So all in all, I think that if the veterans lead the way, the defense, the goalie can make a couple of big saves a game, bail out the young defense because they're going to make mistakes, then I think that the Dogs are going to have a good season. So expect some, ups and downs for the defense. Tinordi had a bad first year in the OHL in particular. Then he killed it his second year. So it's an adjustment period for these guys. So that's your Bulldogs report. I'm Joel Gabe.